You have to get up early, says Jamshed Ismatov, if you want to find work. Like most Tajikistani men, he's the sole provider for his family. And he's a day laborer. He used to be a migrant worker in Russia. But as the economic crisis deepens there, Tajiks are no longer welcome. Jamshed Ismatov had to return to his impoverished home country Tajikistan and try to support his family here.
Nothing at all so far. I have to wait, like always, until evening. We'll see what the day brings. Every day's the same, standing, asking, waiting around. If a few pennies come my way, should I buy a piece of bread or save it for my family?
Bread is expensive these days at the Basori Shukh Mansour. Tajikistan has been mired in a severe economic crisis for years, with unemployment at 11%, officially. The real number may be much higher. The Basori Shukh Mansour also serves as a job market. Hundreds of men wait here for odd jobs. Jamshed Ismatov waits with them.
Everyone knows what's going on here. Come on, guys, tell us how you're doing. How come you're here every morning at 6:30? It's clear, no job, no money, no life. It's a total waste of time.
In Russia, the Tajiks often used to work as handymen. Most of the migrants had been there 10 years or more. Then Russia changed its rules for foreigners and sent many Tajiks back home.
That wasn't right. But it's even worse that our government does nothing about it. No programs, no steps to fight unemployment, no benefits. They just pretend the problem doesn't exist.
There should be plenty of work for Jamshed Ismatov and all the other day laborers on Dushanbe's construction sites. But even in the government quarter, work has come to a standstill. Not only is Tajikistan afflicted by poverty, but corruption as well. Now morning has passed with nothing for Jamshed Ismatov. He runs home for a bite to eat. He's taken a small flat in Dushanbe with 3 countrymen, not far from the market. They all come from Kulo, a town in eastern Tajikistan. Hassan, the youngest, is taking a nap.
He's frustrated. Some days we all just sit around and don't know how we're going to get by. We pay 400 simoni, that's about 45 euros, for the room here. It's a lot of money, but we divide it 4 ways.
The 4 men aren't the only renters. Nosani and her relatives also live in the 3-room flat. 13 people in 80 square meters. Nosani cooks for all of them. I'm the only one who earns a steady wage as a cook. I used to work in a cafeteria with my mother. She died a year ago. The cafeteria closed. Maybe I'll manage to open it again. Then I'll have a little more money, I hope. The oldest renter is Jumahan. He used to be a teacher, but he earned so little in Kulo that he eventually quit and went off to Russia. Now he too had to return. At least he'll be able to see his family more often, he tells himself. Now Hassan is awake. He's 23 and was forced to leave Russia about a month ago.
They just deported me.
Why?
They said I'd done something wrong. You never know what they really want of you there. They bundle you off to the airport and say that's it. Sometimes it's enough if you just don't pay your phone bill, or the rent, or if you register too late with the authorities. But all my papers were in order. Still, when I got off the plane, they grabbed me and sent me right back.
What does that mean for you and your family?
Nothing good. I lived there for 7 years and supported my family. And here it's coming right down to the wire.
200,000 Tajiks were expelled from Russia in 2015. More than 700,000 are still there. They sent a total of €3.5 million back to Tajikistan throughout the year, equal to half the country's gross domestic product. That changed when Russia tightened its immigration laws under the rationale of fighting terrorism. Jamshed Ismatov lived in Moscow for 17 years, working in construction, until he was expelled. He gets a call. It's an acquaintance wanting him to paint some walls. Jumakhan hopes he can go along. The room is big enough for all three, they hear. They could all make a little money. It's supposed to become a higher-class diner. Jamshed's men look around the construction site.
So just paint it? I'm afraid so. We'll see how much work there is. What's it going to be? Okay, a cafe. We'll use 5 different colors in these areas, big stripes. But I've just found out that the paint hasn't arrived yet. The builder doesn't have the money to pay for it. It's his idea, after all. These guys never seem to have any money. Even when you finish a job, you've got to spend a whole month trying to track down the money they owe you. You've really got to get nasty with them, and then sometimes they'll pay up.
Still, they may end up getting the job. That afternoon, Jamshed decides to head back home to Kulob. He hasn't seen his family for a month. He'll bring them the small bit of money he's earned doing odd jobs. Jamshed comes from a very poor region. Desperation drives some of the young men to join the so-called Islamic State group. Some decide to go to fight in Syria because they can make money there. Jamshed shows us pictures of Gulmurad Kalimov, one of the most famous Tajiks to have joined IS. Kalimov says he joined the group to protest what he calls the anti-Islamic policies of Tajikistan's government. 90% of the people in this country are Muslims. Tajikistan's only Muslim opposition party has been banned. People like Kalimov are using people's discontent to recruit new members for IS. They offer money and what they claim is real Islam.
A lot of people have already joined. I've seen it on TV. They've all been conned. They promise these guys the world instead of the poverty they're used to, all in the name of Allah. It's all lies. Some managed to come back, and they say that life under ISIS was hell for them and their families.
Tajikistan borders Afghanistan, where much of the country is controlled by the radical Islamist Taliban. IS supports them too. Dozens of people from this area have gone off to join IS. At least there's running water in Kulob. For centuries, the city was cut off from the outside world. The government finally built a highway that connects Kulob to the capital Dushanbe. So now Jamshed can visit his family more often. His 2 children, Mino and Masuna, enjoy these visits. Sometimes they have to wait for months to see him. Jamshed's mother, Dalabi, has got used to the fact that her son is hardly ever home, like most men in Tajikistan.
Who's this?
What can we do? Should he just sit around here with us and wait for a miracle? He's earning money for the whole family. If he hadn't gone to Dushanbe and to Russia before that, we'd have nothing. I have 2 other sons. They're in Russia now, and they're helping us and their families to survive. Jamshed's wife leads a modest life. Tonight she's cooking pilaf for dinner. It's a rice-based meal that's popular throughout the region. Homemade bread and 2 big plates of pilaf, and tea to wash it all down. The Ismatovs are really celebrating tonight. I used to have 4 sons. One was killed in the Civil War back in the 1990s. He was a police officer. Those were difficult times, but now things have calmed down, and I hope it stays like this. Stability and peace. That's what most people in Tajikistan want. They try to ignore the government's corruption and nepotism, and the country's unemployment and poverty. Their religion is important to them, even if they can only practice it at home, like in Soviet times. The government equates religious devotion with terrorism. Jamshed says that's ridiculous.
My religion helps me in my everyday life. Islam gives me inner peace and keeps me from doing bad things. I pray to Allah to help me find a job so I can do more for my family.
Jamshed's visit to his family lasts only a few hours. He's now got a 200-kilometer trip in front of him, back to Dushanbe. He still has hope that he can make a go of it there and earn a little money. But in his heart of hearts, Jamshed Ismatov hopes that he can go back to Russia. That's where the real money is.